Myself good. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the podcast. You're here with the Four Bros. This is our second episode. Last time we came to you, we talked about Major League Baseball. We got the boys on. How you doing, boys?
Good. I switched channels.
Show us your uniform.
First episode, I was.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Let's
Well,
go.
last time, guys, we talked about Major League Baseball. This time we're going to talk about college baseball. We're going to go through the 2024 season and really get into exactly what we're going to see this year. You guys ready to talk about it?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, but first, y'all, facts. I got switched from Thomas because right now we are filming in North Carolina and Thomas is filming in Charlotte, probably.
We're in Cary and he's in Charlotte.
Yeah. So apparently he can't come over, so we just have to stay here. I can't go into this camera, so yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
But what's cool is we have such cool technology. We can talk about this stuff, right?
I mean,
yeah. Yep. I'm glitching. It's really cool.
All right. Well, let's talk about some college baseball. Let's wrap up last year. So remember, we had a really exciting College World Series last year. I got to watch some of it with you boys. As you remember, Virginia made it to the College World Series in Omaha. So did Wake Forest. So did LSU. So did Florida. We had a lot of great teams there. Everyone had a really great season. Came down at the end to the final 3-game series, LSU and Florida. And LSU prevailed in the final game 18-4. They just absolutely blitzed Florida in that last game.
They just knocked him out.
They were incredible, weren't they, LSU?
Yeah. They knocked him out.
So what did you guys think of your first kind of College World Series experience last year? Did you enjoy watching it?
I think there was a few mistakes with Florida, but they did pretty good. They always got 4 points, but I think they did pretty good either way. I think they did pretty good.
And what I remember from last summer, guys, is we would go to Oak Island to our beach house quite a bit. And I remember you guys on your iPads watching a lot of the replays of the games, whether it was LSU, Florida, whether it was the Virginia games. It's pretty fun to watch.
I remember that the World Series in general was very exciting. I got a couple of stats. There were 8 games decided by 1 run. 3 teams overcame a deficit of 3 or more runs to win a game. There were 30 home runs hit, which was the most since 2010. Florida hit 17 home runs by themselves. Florida's Ty Evans hit 5 home runs, which set a record. And 2 pitchers, Paul Skeens for LSU and Rhett Lauder from Wake, set a strikeout record for both schools and 1 conference record in the same game. And it's considered one of the best College World Series games of all time. A walk-off homer won it in the 11th inning. So there was just a whole lot of excitement in the entire World Series. And even though the finals had a really close game 1, and then game 2 was a blowout towards Florida, and game 3 was a blowout towards LSU. It was very exciting to get to that point.
It was. And anytime you see the 2 best pitchers in baseball going at each other in a game that is that critical, maybe the biggest game of their lives, that was just huge. And obviously I was rooting for Wake Forest because they're ACC, but wasn't totally unhappy to see LSU go through either. It's just great baseball.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, to be honest, they're really good. Yeah, LSU's are really good. Yeah, LSU's like Paul Skeens.
Yeah,
it's probably a pitcher that could throw over 100 miles per hour. Like we said in the last video, he threw really fast.
What was interesting is those 2 starting pitchers were so good that both of those teams, you could feel those teams were just waiting for later in the innings when the relievers came in. They could actually try to hit.
Well, then at the very end, they changed pitchers, and then Tommy White got a homer off of him.
Right.
And then
you mean Tommy Tanks?
Yeah. I mean that.
And by the way, he's coming back this year, so we'll see what he can do this year.
He actually transferred from NC State.
Yeah, he was a hometown boy here
Yeah.
for a while there, and he just was a little too big for this program. Although NC State generally has a pretty good program.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're not bad.
Right?
But he's beelining for a big contract in the big. So
Well, let's talk about the top 10 preseason rankings. We're going to go through each of these teams. You guys tell me what you think about what their chances are in the College World Series this year. Okay.
yeah.
So let's
sure.
start with the number 1 ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Last year they were 54-12. Again, they had their best season in program history. They had not made a College World Series appearance since 1955. And they've built a tremendous program there. It's been coming on for 3 or 4 years, but last year it came in a culmination of really having a complete team and really good coaching. And they've got virtually all of those players back this year to make another run at it. And so I think that they are deserving of being number 1 right now. What do you guys think about Wake Forest's chances to redeem themselves?
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna have a lot of wins and then play really good. So I think they're
Mhm.
gonna play really good this year.
They should be in
Mhm.
those top 4 teams at the end.
Yeah, they should.
Last year, the first time they lost 2 back-to-back games was losing to LSU in the semis.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they never lost more than 1 game in a row. Very, very dominant program out of nowhere. They haven't had a big program for very long, but they got to the top and they're just very, very good now.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they got way better throughout the years.
So in terms of their big players, they got Nick Kurtz as their big bat in the lineup, along with Josh Hartle. They also got a Tennessee transfer, the best pitcher at Tennessee, and Tennessee's a really good program. In Chase Burns, he's coming into the rotation. So, Wake Forest already had a great rotation as it was, and now they added Tennessee's best pitcher. So it's gonna be really interesting. I think that they're just great top to bottom. They don't really have many weaknesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess who plays Wake Forest in about a week? 3-game series.
LSU in Florida.
University of Virginia plays. UVA
Yeah.
plays Wake, and that's going to be an epic series. 3-game
Whoever
series.
wins is going to be the best team. I feel like Wake Forest is. Because you could tell Wake Forest is number 1, and Virginia's rated number 9, I think. Yeah,
That's
rated
right.
number
Yep.
9.
They're 9 this week. Right.
Hmm.
All right. Well, let's move on to number 2 LSU. 54-17 last year, ended up as national champs. They're bringing back their whole team except for their best 2 players, both of whom got drafted in the major league draft, number 1 and number 2, which is really rare to have 2 guys go back to back as the top 2 players in the MLB. So that's going to hurt them. Of course, they won't be quite as good, but they do have one of the best transfer classes coming in. They've got a lot of bats and arms coming in that are going to help. And it just feels like they reload every year, kind of like Alabama in football. So what do you guys
Yeah.
think? Can LSU repeat as champs?
I think they'll wait. Oh, never mind. I think they'll probably make it pretty deep. I think they're going to become champs for back-to-back.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
They
so.
have to be the most loaded team every year.
They do.
They always have a shot.
Wait. Yeah. Imagine
Do you
if they
think-
can
do you-
get it 3 times.
Do you think Tommy
Wait.
Tank should have stayed at NC State, or did he make the right decision going to LSU?
The wrong decision.
I'm not sure because
He's
he
got a
could've-
ring now.
he could have kept building something here.
Yeah.
I think when he left here, the NC State program was in pretty good shape.
hmm
But you can't argue with going to sort of the most favored team over the last few years, for sure.
True.
So they've got him
Hurts, of
coming
course.
back. He'll be their best player this year. He was their 3rd best player last year. He'll be their best player. And then they have a big pitcher coming in from UCLA. His name is Gage Jump, Jump, and didn't play at all last year because he had Tommy John surgery. But they said that coming out of high school, he was one of the top prospects in the country. So LSU, again, they just continue to reload at every position. So I think they've got a good shot.
Mhm.
Me too. I think they're gonna take a shot at it. And
Nobody wants
They're
to play sure.
They're definitely the best team in the SEC. The second best team in the SEC is ranked number 3 preseason. That's the University of Florida, the Gators.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
54-17 last year. They kind of made a little bit of a surprise run all the way to the final in the College World Series last year. But it was exciting to see them there. Always a great program, big behemoth baseball team there every year. You can't count them out. In terms of the national runners-up, they've got two-way star Jack Gaglione coming back. They have the top closer in Brandon Neely. They have Colby Shelton, who hit 25 homers for Alabama last year, and he actually transferred over to Florida, which is almost like sacrilege. But so they have just added talent in the transfer portal and in recruiting. Any thoughts about Florida? Can they make a run at it this year?
I think they'll probably have a good shot at it, so maybe they could.
I would say definitely making the World Series. I don't know about how far they go. Probably pretty far.
They say Florida has 3 of the top 56 prospects for Major League Baseball. So when you have that much talent, 3 of the top 56 prospects, pretty amazing to see.
Yeah.
So Florida, yeah, well, I think the Gators got a really good shot. Let's look at number 4, Clemson. As Rob says, Clemson with a P. Last year, 44-19.
Oh, I say Clemson.
No, that's what Clemson fans say. Clemson.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny.
Funny.
They were 44-19 last year. They did make the NCAA tournament. They came up short getting to Omaha, but had a really good season, one of the better ACC squads. They feel like they're back on the rise again after their fall off after 2019. So they've figured some things out, and they've got a lot of good pitchers coming back, and they have some new young bloods coming in as well at Clemson. What do you guys think about them? Do they have a good shot?
I think they'll probably have some tough moments, and then they'll have a shot sometimes, and then win a few games, and then yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be about the same as last year. They're going to be right on the verge of making the tournament. I don't know if they make it. I don't think they're going real far, but I think they're going to have a nice season.
You have to think that, last year we had Wake and Virginia both make it to Omaha from the ACC. You have to think at least 2 from the ACC will make it, and maybe 3. I mean, the ACC's baseball is really deep this year.
Yeah, it's gotten better.
Yeah, it's gotten way better.
I mean, Duke's no slouch. Yeah, there's chances for
North Carolina, NC State.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I hope 3 can go. That'd be really cool for the conference.
I'd be rooting for Clemson.
I would.
I'd like to see ACC teams get in.
Me too.
No, me too.
I like ACC teams.
Well, this next team has always been a baseball powerhouse as long as I can remember. All the way back, by the way, to the Baltimore Orioles when they got Ben McDonald. He was a big-time right-hander for the Orioles, and he came from University of Texas and went to the Orioles and won a lot of games for the Orioles. So Texas has a lot of motivation. They lost in their super regional. It came down to the 9th inning, and it came down to a walk-off home run by Stanford in the super regional that knocked them out of their chance of going to Omaha. It looked like they were on their way to the College World Series. Stanford hits a walk-off homer to end Texas's bid. So they got really close, and they've got to have a chip on their shoulder to try to get there this year. What do you think about Texas? Can they make it?
Yeah, I think they could probably have a shot and make it. Hopefully, they probably will make it, but they'll have a shot, I think.
They've got actually 3 guys on the team that were double-digit home run hitters last year, so they've got a lot of power in terms of their batting lineup. And then they have 2 top aces in their starting rotation. So, they're just going to be a tough out no matter who they play all the way through their new SEC schedule. Yeah, they're going to be good. Arkansas. What about Arkansas? Number 6, another SEC school. Number 6, Arkansas, 43-18 last year. They're actually the favorites to win the SEC this year. Believe it or not, they've got a really good program. Have for a while. They have a number of MLB prospects on this team that they think are going to go in the first 3 rounds. They in 2018 went all the way to the final game in the College World Series, and they came within a dropped foul ball of winning it all. Basically, if they had caught that foul ball, they would have won the World Series and won the championship. They ended up dropping that foul ball, and then later the team they were playing ended up winning it all, which was really heartbreaking. They have a very deep pitching staff, and they're very well coached and very good defensively. So what do you think of Arkansas?
Yeah, I think they could play better and catch hopefully foul balls when they lost.
I think you summarized it well, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine having that kind of heartbreak. It takes you a while to recover from that, right?
Yeah, takes a while. It'll be really sad for the fans who really like. Yeah.
Because they
Should
were
be able-
that close to winning it all,
They should be able to compete with LSU for the best team in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, if they're saying they're favored to win the SEC, that means they think they're a little better than LSU. I don't know about that, but we'll see who ends up emerging. Next team is TCU. These are the Horned Frogs. They've had a really, really good record the last 3 years, have made it to the College World Series several times in the last 3 years. They're still the big favorite in the Big 12 to win that conference. They have Cole Klecker, who's one of the top 3 starters in college baseball this year, and a big-time major league prospect. I'm sure this will be his last year, and he'll be going pretty high in the draft. And then they have a newcomer who's just come in from Wichita State, who's another big-time pitcher. He had 97 strikeouts last year and 9 wins. So it seems like they're pretty loaded in terms of pitching and defensively as well as hitting. Any thoughts about the Horned Frogs with TCU?
I think they could probably do really good this season, and hopefully they'll play better than they did last year.
I think they had a lot of growth last year. In May, they were 21-4, which means that they got hot as the season went along. I think a lot of the light bulbs started going off for these players, and I think they're in a good position this year to be more ready for that level of competition right out of the gate. So they should be in a little better shape even than last year. I guess they were 24th in the country going into the tournament. So they had a nice program, but they were definitely rising. And so, usually you put one season into the next, and whatever the trajectory is tends to continue.
Mm-hmm. Very true. They're just from that hotbed of baseball, all those southern teams, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all those states in the South just have hotbed of baseball
They're
talent.
warm states that you can train all year round. And so that's why they're so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
And TCU always feels like the little brother to Texas. And they're always trying to kind of get over that, that reputation. They're always trying to get over the hump and try to be the kings of Texas in terms of baseball and football. So, it'll be interesting to see how they do this year. Next team is a team that is kind of comes close to us in North Carolina, and that's East Carolina. East Carolina, the Pirates had a super, super good offense last year. They won the AAC title, and they're expected to do so again this year. They are one of those sneaky good teams that can creep up on you and beat you at any time. They were a really surprising entrant into the Super Regionals. Got very close to going to College World Series, just missed out. But feel like maybe this is their year to break their College World Series drought. Have the talent to do so, have the coaching to do so, and really are playing in a conference where they should be able to rack up a lot of wins. So what do you guys think about East Carolina?
I think they'll probably knock it they'll probably make it to College World Series, but I don't think they're probably gonna win the whole thing, but I think they're gonna make it pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good analysis, Connor, because I think that just making it to the College World Series for a program like East Carolina would just, that'd be like the Super Bowl for them, just making it there. So
Yeah.
I kind of hope they do. I think it'd be a really exciting story in North Carolina for this local team to go. Number 9 is UC Santa Barbara. This is California, Santa Barbara. These are the Gauchos. They're the favorites in the Big West Conference, and they have one of the best pitching staffs in the country. As a matter of fact, they consider them the best pitching and defensive team in the country. Where they have a little bit of a weakness is in scoring runs. So it'll be interesting to see when they get a little further down the road in the playoffs if they can hang with some of the bigger teams. But obviously have a really good squad. Their pitching staff is led by Hudson Barrett, Jackson Flora. Those are their top 2 pitchers. And Jackson Flora last year got the Big West Freshman of the Year. So a lot of talent in UC Santa Barbara, and they're kind of a rising program as well. What do you guys think about them?
I think they'll play really good this year.
I think anytime you have pitching like that, you have a chance.
Yeah, me too. Same.
That's cool. Well, this next team we know very well. I've got my shirt on here, University of Virginia. We won the championship back in 2015. I think we all were riding high from that. Have gotten back to the College World Series several times since. Last year, we had a particularly good year. We were 50-15 and 19-11 in the ACC and made it all the way through the regionals, super regionals, and to the College World Series, thinking that we could potentially do something there. Of course, we had Kyle Teal and we had Jake Geloff and a lot of great players who've now moved on to Major League Baseball. We had our top 3 pitchers also move on. But we do have, returning to this great team from last year, College World Series, some really great players like Ethan Anderson, Griff O'Farrell. These guys were all ACC second team players. Anthony Stefan, Joe Savino. And then we have a freshman coming in who's highly touted, one of the best freshmen coming into the ACC this year. His name's Henry Ford. So definitely watch out for him. He's going to play really well, I think. This is a restructured pitching staff and bullpen. You have Jay Wilfork, who last year was a closer, who used to be on the UVA football team. But this year he's making the leap to go into the starting rotation. And it'll be interesting to see how he does and some of the other guys in this restructured pitching staff. So if UVA, who has probably the best offense in the ACC, can get their pitching staff together and figure out how to get through innings as much as possible this year, they might have a chance. So what do you guys think about UVA's chances?
Yeah, I think if the pitching goes well, they'll probably do a lot better and then hopefully win and go to the College World Series.
You think, Brock, do you think they're going to be able to score a lot of runs this year, UVA?
Probably.
Yeah. They brought back a lot of their hitters.
Yeah, they brought.
One thing I've noticed so far in the games that they played for this season is there are a number of times where they're losing in the 4th or 5th inning and they come back. So they have a lot of character and a lot of belief that they're going to do it, which really pays off in the College World Series. And then if you can get to Omaha, but I think that's going to serve them well. And I think they have a lot of belief in their team. So you don't want to play a team that always believes they have a shot.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You see here, talk about in our notes here that we lost our top 3 starters, which hurts, but we brought in 3 transfers: Joe Savino, Owen Cody, and Blake Barker. All were leading pitchers in their conferences. So they're all transfers in this year. That's basically our starting rotation, all transfers in, along with Jay Wolfork, who I talked about. In addition, Kyle Teal's younger brother is now the closer. And younger Teal actually closed out the game today. I was watching the 8th and 9th inning. It was pretty exciting to see him get his first save today. So going to be really fun to see the younger Teal as he blossoms in his career as well. But I feel like O'Connor's got it going now. This team is really solid. We'll just have to see how they do in the rest of the ACC season and then heading into the playoffs.
They definitely had a little bit of bad luck, or they played 2 bad games in Omaha and then were bounced, which was unfortunate. But they had a nice run going to that point. So I think sometimes that just happens in baseball. You just can't quite get over the hump. But if you have, a quality squad, a great coach, good position coaches, and belief in your team, I think you can go pretty far. So, you know, you never know how it'll play out, but they probably will play a little tougher this year if they can get into a bigger spotlight like Omaha.
The College World Series feels a little bit like the basketball March Madness tournament, which is really a gauntlet. You can't have an off game or else you're out. And that's a little bit what College World Series feels like. You can't have two bad games in a row or else you're going home. But I feel like this team has so much hitting. I've watched almost every game this year, and they just rack up the points. I mean, today they were up 10-2 going into the ninth inning. They actually gave up a couple runs in the ninth inning, but overall were able to close it out. They just get such huge leads on teams. And even when, like you said, they're behind 4, 5, 6 runs, it's never enough to stop the Virginia offense. They score a lot of runs. So I'm pretty excited to see where they can go this year. Other honorable mentions we didn't mention in this list. UNC Tar Heels, very, very solid team. They're moving up the ranks. They're up to 16 now. NC State's at 23 now. So NC State has a pretty good program as well.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yep. And then Duke just moved into the top 10 today.
Yeah,
So they're at 10.
Duke finished 10th last year.
Yep.
Right? No, I'm sorry, 21st. No, 21st before the tournament. They lost in the Super Regional.
Duke's been coming on. Duke's been coming on for a couple of years now. They're definitely a team to watch in the ACC. Not only do you have, Wake, Clemson, Virginia, but now you have to put Duke, Carolina, NC State in there as well. Those 6 teams, I think, that's the cream of the crop of ACC baseball. And then you can't really forget about Miami. Miami is a pretty good program. Georgia Tech,
Florida State.
Florida State too. Yep.
So a lot of good teams in the ACC. So anybody who comes out of the ACC really is battle tested. It's ready to go. It would be really fun, guys. One year we should go out to Omaha and go see the College World Series. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Go out there. That's one of those events you want to go see once in your life, for sure.
Yeah. Well, my first game was to see the Durham Bulls play. So
Durham, okay.
Yeah, Durham Bulls.
With my whole baseball team.
I feel like when Virginia goes to the College World Series next, we should just fly out to Omaha, Nebraska, and go see them. And it'd be a great experience. And then sometime we got to go up to Baltimore and go to Camden Yards. That'd be a cool experience.
Yeah, and then I could wear my O's like I'm wearing right now.
Oh yeah,
that's right. All right, well, it's time for prediction time, guys. So, who do you think is going to go to the College World Series from this list, and who do you think is going to take it all?
I think Clemson. Clemson or LSU?
I'm saying LSU, Virginia.
I think Wake Forest and LSU and Wake Forest. I think LSU and Clemson because they're the top 3. Or Florida, LSU, and Wake Forest are the top 3. So I feel like these Florida, LSU, and Wake Forest are gonna make it. If one of them don't, it just depends. If Wake Forest gets knocked out, but Florida gets knocked out, and it's the finals, I'm going for LSU. But it just depends. My guess is LSU or Clemson. My guess is Florida, LSU, and Wake Forest because Wake Forest is the top 10. They're in the top 10.
All right. The cool thing is you guys are on record now who you think is going to predict. So we have it on record. So when the season's over, we'll come back and look at this video and see how you guys did.
Okay.
Nice.
I think what I'd like to see in my heart is I'd like to see Virginia Wake Forest in the final series.
I kind of like to see.
That's what I'd like to see.
I feel like LSU is going to make it in the finals again and probably play against Virginia. I don't know. It's going to be really rough though. LSU is the top 2 and Virginia's top 10. Promise.
Although I'm very happy. I will say I'm very happy that LSU doesn't have their top 2 players anymore. So maybe that gives us a chance.
But who's their top 2 players?
Their top 2 hitters from last year went to the major leagues. So,
Who are they? Because I know most of their names, but who? Just who? What are the 2 players who like went to the MLB?
let's see. I don't have their names on hand here.
I think.
I can let you know.
Okay.
Cool.
It'll be fun to watch those players and others who get drafted as they come up through the ranks and
Yeah,
eventually get
so
some playing time. Yeah.
So Tom.
Well, guys. Yeah.
Tom. So when you say Wake Forest, you want Wake Forest and Virginia to play in the finals. I know who you're going to be cheering for.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think I'll be cheering for?
Virginia.
How do you know?
Because you're wearing it right. Because you're probably born. Look, you're right. It's right there. Yeah, I'm making. It's right there. Right there.
Yep, you're correct. That's who I'd be for.
Okay,
Well, guys, thanks for doing this preview with us, and we had a great time doing it. It's gonna be a really exciting season. We're gonna watch a lot of college baseball together, and let's hope we see a lot of great games and a great World Series.
Sounds good.
Yep, sounds good.
And we'll see you next time. We'll see you next time on the Four Bros podcast.
Subscribe, and comment who's your favorite team, and also let's try to hit 1,000 views.
Let's do it. Let's hit 1,000 views. Like and subscribe, like Brock said, and make sure you subscribe, right, Brock?
Yeah. Yep. I know a lot about YouTube. That's why I said that.
We're gonna make the Four Bros podcast really big.
Yep. And we'll see. I want 189 subscribers. I don't think we're gonna be able to hit that. Yeah, we're not gonna hit that. I don't think we are. It just has to go through the world.
You never know, buddy.
You know what? One day we're going to have Major League Baseball players watching and wanting to know our college predictions. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wait, can you send this to Gunnar Henderson? That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe he can watch our podcast.
What? Imagine if he does. That's so
Let's send it to him. I'll send it to his email. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and fade on out here. Everybody give us the thumbs up.